So what's the meaning of the root corporation bit? Okay.
Draw near.
To draw near. That is correct. You can see it from the verses that are on screen. We have it in the kal, third person masculine singular kal katal. Velo karav ze el ze kol halayla. The verse here is Exodus 14:20, and indeed, the context is the Exodus. Okay, and in the same context we have Ufaro hikriv. Okay, Pharaoh drew near, even though it's in the Hiphil. Okay, so we have either drawing near or bringing something near. Okay, again, the English is irrelevant here. Okay, so lo karav ze el ze kol halayla or ufaro hikriv. The concrete sense of this root is to approach, to draw near, as you said, to come close to a place or a person, and the Hiphil can either be close to the meaning of the kal stem, the kal binyan, or it can have that causative sense to it, to bring near, to present, or to offer. Okay, specifically offering to God. Okay, bringing something closer to God. Now, the most common, however, use of this is, as we've seen in verse 3, and this is why I said we might go back to this verse in Leviticus 1:3, is to bring this sacrifice as a technical term, okay? But as a technical term, that is different than a sacrifice, okay? Because we talk about sacrifice, what is echoing in our mind when we talk about the word sacrifice? It's the loss that is suffered by the person who sacrifices something. Okay, so you have to sacrifice, even though sakra has to do with holiness, but the meaning that echoes when we talk about sacrifice is that the what you have to sacrifice, what you have to lose in order to gain that, right, Don? Yeah, I see your hand is up.
Yes, that phrase "to draw near" is that the same word that is used for Judah approaching Joseph?
No, that's a different word in biblical Hebrew. Vayigash, the root is nun gimel shin. Different word. Okay. Right. Anyway, good question though. So, sometimes we have, if we remember the translation, we have to go back to the Hebrew and see what is the Hebrew term there in order to really understand. In any case, the fact that the etymology of the word korban has to do with bringing near or coming near shows that it's not just a ritual killing of something in order to say, oh, I'm willing to lose something. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. It's not just that, but it's an opportunity to become close to God, to draw near to God, okay? This is why it accompanies repentance. It accompanies thanksgiving. It accompanies the covenant renewal of every year that we're going to celebrate in 2 weeks. Okay? So that's the idea of the meaning of Qorban. 2 points to be made. Okay? Kind of, we generally think of a ritual sacrifice of an animal, but it doesn't have to be an animal. Okay? Here we have 2 examples of the idea of Qorban being kind of beyond obviously the concrete sense of coming close, beyond the sacrifice of an animal. Here, v'chi takriv korban mincha ma'afeh tanur. If you have a grain offering, you're not gonna slaughter the grain. Okay. Okay. So that's the first example here from our weekly portion. I brought this verse from Nehemiah for two reasons. First of all, to show you that the idea of Qorban is beyond what is like the animal, and even beyond that grain offering. And I'm reading the verse from Nehemiah, והגורלות הפלנו על קורבן העצים. Note the form kurban as opposed to the regular korban. Okay, קורבן העצים, הכהנים, הלוויים והעם, להביא לבית אלוהינו, לבית אבותינו, לעתים מזומנים שנה ושנה, לבער על מזבח אדוני אלוהינו, ככתוב בתורה. Note this beautiful, this is a very, very technical account, but for me it's beautiful because it shows you the, like, something that oftentimes comes up in discussions about Israel, about Judaism, about the paradox of what are Jews? Is Judaism religion? Is it an ethnic group? Is it a nation? Note how already Nehemiah says to bring to the house of our God or the house of our Father as an opposition. Remember opposition, guys, when you say something, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, the funny guy with a unique hairdo. So I used three different phrases to refer to the same person. Okay? So Levet Eloheinu and Levet Avotenu here are oppositions. It's the same place. It's that temple that we're talking about in Jerusalem. And it marks the religious, national, ethnic, like, question of Judaism. Someone said critically of Zionism, because the dominant part of the Zionist movement was non-religious and at times even anti-religion. Someone said critically about Zionism, the Zionists say that God does not exist, but he promised us the land. Yeah. So yeah, it was said critically, but there is something in this already biblical verse that says, house of our God, house of our Father, of our fathers. But that's not the reason I brought it. But again, when opportunity presents itself, this is what I see. Kurban Hayatim is the wood that is brought. Okay, it's a gift, it's an offering, it's definitely not slaughtered animal. So we have the technical ritual term for slaughtering animals many times, dozens of times, as korban in the book of Leviticus, but we've talked a little bit about the idea of korban and the etymology of korban, and approaching God, drawing near to God, bringing near, and closing the distance between, or narrowing the distance between human and God. And we've talked too much about the war as well. And Jackie?
Can you just say again one more time about those two phrases that you just put a box around? How they relate?
These are opposition. This is an opposition. It's when you say one thing in more than one way. Like Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, said. Okay, I could have said Benjamin Netanyahu said. I could have said the Prime Minister of Israel. These are equals. It's the same thing. It's to say something that equals. Okay. Okay. My favorite biblical Hebrew teacher, Netanel, taught us about opposition in biblical Hebrew. Okay, I now refer to the same entity by two different phrases. I used my proper name, and I also used what I'm sure is the right description, my favorite, my best looking biblical Hebrew teacher. I don't know about favorite, I don't know about best looking is like to go on the safe, to be on the safe side. So that's opposition. It's called opposition. And here you can see that already Nehemiah talks about Leveit Eloheinu, Leveit Avotenu. He is creating this opposition between the religious identity, the house of our God, and the ethnic identity, the house of our fathers. Do you see why it's striking a chord with me?
Netanel, say it apposition against opposition, rather than
with an A, with an A.
People are not hearing it. Yeah.
Opposition, as opposed to opposition. Opposition, as opposed to opposition. Okay, the grammatical term. Okay, it's a relationship between two or more words which grammatically parallel each other. Okay, and they go to the same referent. Okay, the same person, the same identity. My biblical Hebrew teacher, Netanel. My student, Maureen. The first U.S. president, George Washington. We do it all the time. This is called opposition. A-P-P opposition.
Okay.
Your spouse. No, I'm just kidding.
They're not opposed, they're in agreement.
So opposition, and this is, for me, it's interesting because it shows that this duality, this ambiguous nature of Judaism goes back already to the Bible. Okay, so there are other grammatical points to be made about this verse, but you've heard enough about these things for one day. Thank you very much, guys. Again, reminding you, I'm working on the October tour, and I've already contacted several ground operators and started working on kind of a plan. I have most of the plan down already. It's probably gonna start October 4th or 5th or something like that after the holidays. I promise that it's not gonna be too much fun. Okay, it's gonna be more of a boot camp. So don't, if anyone wants to sit in a hotel and enjoy their margaritas on the beach, yeah, go find a different tour guide. Anyway, so guys, I'm working in it. I hope that by the end of the month I would have I've asked quotas from different operators and for the logistics and everything, and I'm trying to get it to a reasonable place, and I will let you know, guys. I will let you know. Probably we're not going to do more than 40 people. A regular bus has 51 seats. It's not going to be like, I want it to be a boutique. I don't want it to be like buses come, never mind who's the guy, tak, you've seen this is ta, move on, ta. It's going to be, and it's going to be kind of a difficult balance between visiting as many places, but doing it in a way that is significant, okay, and in a way that would try to give you as much of a biblical picture as possible, yet, which sites and everything, I'm going to tell you in advance that we're definitely not going to see everything that there is to see, and probably there are many important sites that we will have to compromise and not see. Just one off the top of my head that I would love for us to be able to see, but I'm working on the plan and I see that we're not going to be there. Probably the area of Shechem, of Har Gerizim, which I would love to go, but I don't see it working with a schedule. So, things like that, okay? But again, that's a plan for October. I hope that by the end of the month, we have kind of something that is already set that we can kind of start saving places. I've tried, to choose places that would be sufficient and normal, but not too luxurious, because we're not going to spend much time in the hotels anyway. So that's the plan. And I'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom,
Shalom,
everybody.
shalom.
Shana Tova as well. Chodesh Tov.
Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, and Shabbat shalom.